While movies and science usually go together like me and convoluted introductions to list videos, there are a number of plot holes, or even just plots to begin with, that could have been easily resolved had somebody just thought to science the shit out of them, a la The Martian. Now, I'm not a square, I have no problems with riddling a movie with mutated neutrinos and magic tesseracts in order to drive the plot forwards, but to contrive an hour and a half of peril from a situation that could be easily solved or even completely averted by casually running your plan past one scientist is something else entirely. My name is Adam Cleary, and these are 6 more movie plots that could have been resolved by science in minutes. Prepare your cornflakes, I am here to piss in them. Number 6. The aliens don't need Earth. Battle Los Angeles. It is implied in Battle Los Angeles that the aliens have come to Earth to plunder it for its resources and specifically for its water. We often hear about how Spaceship Earth is a unique little snowflake in a big bad universe, what with the presence of life in liquid water, but that doesn't mean that there isn't any water anywhere else. In fact, it is one of the most abundant substances in the entire universe. In fact, again, the one thing that does give Earth its special snowflake status is the fact that it has life on it. Now, admittedly, the existence of invading aliens rather diminishes that status, but it still makes it a really dumb choice for their plundering. If they were looking for resources, they could have found them in abundance and undefended in the rest of our solar system. Hell, Jupiter's moon Europa is thought to harbour more water than all of the Earth's oceans combined and doesn't have a single shopping trolley or used condom bobbing around in it. As far as we know. But Adam, you cry, maybe they were just looking for somewhere to live. Yeah, alright, fair, but having conquered the non-trivial challenge of intergalactic spaceflight, I'm not having it that these aliens couldn't simply have found a nice, habitable exoplanet somewhere else in the galaxy. Preferably one that isn't, bristling with guns and Aaron Eckhart. Number 5, we already use more than 10% of our brains. Lucy. Bad Science isn't the reason Lucy is not a very good film, but it doesn't help either, especially when the entire plot is based around a complete myth. The central conceit of the Scarlett Johansson sci-fi flick is that humans only use 10% of their brains, and a new drug has been created to allow them to use their full brain, granting them superhuman powers such as telepathy and telekinesis. However, the notion that we only use 10% of our brains is an old urban legend dating back to Einstein and beyond. It has been debunked numerous times by neuroscientists over the years. It isn't exactly clear just how much we use, but it's at least 20% if not more, and there's no evidence for 90% of it not functioning some of the time. And plus, at the same time, if you were able to tap into a supposed inactive 90% of your brain, you wouldn't gain superpowers. You would promptly have a seizure instead. Number 4. Just take the high ground. San Andreas. Now, far be it from me to criticize anything my in-real-life best friend Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson does, but perhaps we could have just scienced this movie just a little bit. The mega super wizzo earthquakes that rippled up and down the San Andreas fault would have been truly terrifying, yes. Ignoring for a quick second that an earthquake with its epicenter on land would not produce one, a towering tsunami is indeed a terrifying destructive force, so how do we survive it? Well, luckily for the inhabitants of San Fran, tsunamis come with their own early warning system, known as a drawback, something that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson in his infinite wisdom expertly recognizes in the film. Basically, the ocean will appear to recede impossibly far and fast, and this could give you up to 10 minutes warning for an incoming wall of water. Except a tsunami is generally not a wall of water. Instead, it is an insistent influx of fast-moving floodwater like a high tide on steroids. This would mean that you could use your 10-minute warning to get to the upper floors of a tallish building, or just go to the entire Twin Peaks area of San Francisco. Number 3, pull on the goddamn tether. Gravity. Gravity is a pretty great movie in my obviously correct opinion. That said though, it has been battered from space pillar to space post for its depiction of science and, in particular, its depiction of gravity, which, given the title, is fairly important. But while certain aspects can and indeed will be overlooked because, as we mentioned, I'm not a fucking dork, there's one that stands out so much it kills the entire plot. When George Clooney's Lieutenant Kowalski begins to drift away, he detaches himself from the tether so as not to cause Sandra Bullock's Dr. Stone to go with him. This is so stupid. Firstly, there's the issue of air density in space, specifically that there isn't any. This means that Kowalski would drift away over the course of months, not minutes or seconds. Being in zero G also means that with one quick hard tug, they could have been brought together, and you can make your own penis jokes there. Thank you very much. Number 2, Starkiller Base would never work. Star Wars The Force Awakens. The Force Awakens repeats a lot of plot points from A New Hope, specifically that of a planet-destroying superweapon. The difference this time, though, is that rather than a space station, it's a planet-destroying other planet. In order to power itself, the ice planet consumed stars to give it enough energy to blast away entire worlds, but this is up there with one of the daftest ideas in a Star Wars film since the whole high ground thing. Don't do it, Anakin. I have the higher ground. But we've been fighting on different vantage points for 20 minutes. Why does it matter now? It just does, Anakin. It's the end of the film. Dicks. As noted science-loving but fun-hating astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson points out, sucking all of a star's energy into your planet would vaporize your planet. So, Starkiller Base destroys itself, Han Solo doesn't die, and everyone's happy. Except Harrison Ford. Number 1, grow the crops on Earth. Interstellar. Alright, so aside from the bigger issue of flinging a spaceman into a black hole and expecting to get something out other than spaceman soup, the whole Interstellar thing could have been sorted without the death-defying plunge into the singularity. The whole endeavor is booted off in response to a crop blight on Earth that threatens the survival of the human race and leads NASA on a mission to find Earth 2.0. The future of humanity hangs in the balance dependent on whether we can find a new, unblighted pasture on which to grow our food. This could be a new planet or, say, I don't know, I'm not a scientist, an artificial habitat exactly like Cooper Station at the end of the goddamn movie. Given that the station is basically a space-age Garden of Eden, NASA clearly has the ability to grow plentiful crops under artificial conditions. Why then are we faffing around with exoplanets and actual black holes? You wouldn't even have to fire a single human off into space, but simply build these artificial pastures here on Earth. If you can sustain a human population in the cold, terrifying vacuum of space, you can do it in Colorado or Oklahoma or wherever the hell it's supposed to be set. Problem solved, and nobody needs to swan dive any wormholes.